Aaron, we've just seen you out there with Kane Williamson and the trophy. What would it mean to you as captain to be getting your hands on it in about 24 hours' time?
Oh, it'd be huge. I think both teams have played some really good cricket throughout. We've both had very similar paths to the final and similar semi-final results, actually. So, yeah, it'd mean a lot to Australia.
Australia have never won the World Cup in T20 cricket. For a team and a country that has dominated for so long in Test cricket and ODI cricket, it's a curious absence. How do you explain it?
I think it's a combination of things. I think as a team we don't play a huge amount of T20 cricket together. I think over the last probably 8 or 10 years there's been a lot of the time one game tacked onto the end of a Test and an ODI series when you're potentially resting some of your guys who play multiple formats of the game. Yeah, it's a difficult one because a lot of guys have played a lot of T20 cricket individually, but not so much as a group. So it's just one of those things. I think we've played a lot of the tournaments in the subcontinent as well, and probably haven't adjusted to the conditions quite as well as we could have. And yeah, we feel as though we've done a reasonable job of it so far.
And ahead of this tournament, the team had slipped down the rankings a little bit. You had been number 1. I think you'd slipped to around about number 6. Did you come into this competition with realistic ambitions of winning?
Yeah, we did, honestly. The thing about the rankings is the tournaments are all over, or the series are all over the place at various times. So I don't think you can read a huge amount into that. Yes, our form line wasn't great, but I think the teams that we've had in the past are totally different to what we've had now. And that's just been purely through guys' different preparations for series, coming off injuries, IPL preparations and things like that, where there's some little niggles that guys probably just rest for. If it's just a T20 tour, we had the crossover of the New Zealand and the potential South African Test series, so we didn't have a full list to pick from. But I think down the track that'll really help Australian cricket with its depth. But to answer the question, yeah, we did. We felt as though we had the team and the squad to do it.
You had an early hiccup against England. I remember standing here with you after a hammering against England. I mean, how did you react to that? Was that a case of a wake-up call? Did you have to change things, or did you just say we just had a bad night, that was a blip?
A little bit of everything, to be honest. We had a bad night, no doubt. We probably went away from what we committed to before the tournament, which was being really aggressive, and great teams don't let you into games all that often, and you've got to force your way in there. You've got to try and drag pressure out of their change room and force it on them however you can. And we felt as though that was by being really positive and aggressive, and we probably got a little bit timid in that game. I was guilty of it, just trying to bat through the middle overs rather than trying to put some pressure back on when Livingston and Adil were bowling. So we recommitted to that. We knew that if we were going to win the tournament, that you have to take on the opposition, and you can't let great teams just play their way.
And one thing you did do is go back after that defeat to playing the extra batsman, a slightly batting-heavy balance. Do you feel that's the best balance for your team now?
I think it is at the moment. Just by the way Maxwell and Mitch Marsh are bowling, they've been able to contribute as that fifth bowler really well. We're still at Marcus Stoinis, who hasn't bowled in the tournament either, which is a really good option. And I think we saw it in the semi-final. It gives you real class and calmness with a guy at 33 or 34 years old in Matty Wade batting at 7, who's been around the block multiple times. So to have that calmness and the ability to think his way through a situation with Marcus Stoinis really well was quite crucial, I think.
Did you always have that finishing role for Matthew Wade in mind? I mean, ahead of the tournament, quite a lot of analysts were saying he shouldn't be in the team and others should be, but did you always know that he could produce the goods like that as in the semi-final?
Yeah, we did, and he's been someone who has been a bit of a stopgap when we've needed him elsewhere in the order, whether it's opening the batting, which he does brilliantly well, batting at 3 against England last year. We felt as though with the way that Mitch Marsh played at number 3 throughout the West Indies and Bangladesh series, that added another dimension to our game, and then to have the left-hand option that can potentially float throughout the order but also finish, guys got the laps and the scoops and still power, that's really valuable towards the back end because it puts an opposition to a decision. If you've got someone who's got the power to hit over mid-off but also flick you over fine leg, that's a really, really tough position for a captain to be put in at the death.
New Zealand tomorrow, we always think obviously of the English-Australian rivalry as being the one. How does that rivalry with New Zealand differ?
Not a huge amount. It's been well and truly bolstered over the last couple of years. I think going back to the 2015 World Cup final in the 50-over format, they're just a great side who hang around, and they've got match winners all throughout, but they've also got a real lot of class throughout their game as well. They're a team that, regardless of what situation you put them in, they'll fight tooth and nail and scrap and stay in a game somehow. There's times when you think they're gone and they pull it off, and that's one of their great strengths. Their fielding's unbelievable as well. So, hopefully it's going to be a great game.
Remember around that 2005 World Cup final, Brett Haddin saying, "I'm just going to let it rip in this final because I can't stand them being so nice to us." I mean, they may challenge you in different ways from other teams, I guess.
Oh, they do. They've got quality with the new ball. They're guys who swing it. They've got power with the bat up front, class through the middle, and power at the end. They're just such a well-rounded side, well-respected side. They're led brilliantly by Kane as well. So, there's no holes in their game. So, like I said before, they're a team that you have to try and force your way in and force pressure back onto them because they don't buckle under it very often.
A couple more questions, if I may. When we chatted here last time, David Warner was under a little bit of pressure. Clearly, Bolton Southey for New Zealand with the new ball against yourself and David Warner will be a key aspect of the game. How important has Dave Warner's return to form been for you?
Yeah, there was never any doubt in our camp. It's funny how one or two or three failures in a format that can be quite brutal as a top order batsman when you're trying to take risks early, how quick people can jump off. But we had so much confidence in him inside the change rooms. He's obviously got a lot of confidence in his own ability as well. So the fact that he's been playing really well, that's just another dimension to our game as well. To have his ability, we're probably one left-hander short if you're structuring up against a team who's got a lot of overs of spin in Santner and Sodhi. He's really important to that. So, great to see him back firing.
Another man who was under a little bit of scrutiny coming into the tournament was your coach, actually, Justin Langer. There's been a fair bit said about him over the last month or two. How much will Australia getting to the final, and if you win it, how much will that just be a load off him as well?
Yeah, it's obviously played out in the media, but it's been a brilliant campaign for us. The way that everyone's got along brilliantly well, the vibe in the group is outstanding. The support we've got from the coaches, from everyone, it's just been absolutely brilliant.